So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in this world of ours. Welcome back to Cannon Fodder. You've noticed I've got a smile on my face. We've got some celebratory news. If you've not probably seen our Twitter handle, I've got James Rowe with me. We're going to be talking about some Europa League action coming up this week, Thursday. And like I said, we've got some other bits and pieces of news to talk about. So I shall see you on the other side of this intro music. Yes, welcome back to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world. It's the first and last segment of the day. I'm not doing any morning live shows this week. Actually, we'll be back on Friday. Work comes calling. Health and work are the most important things. Not doing any podcasts. Come on, don't be silly. That's not important. Work and health and family. Yeah. Anyway, and before I get into this one with my good friend James, make sure you subscribe to Cannon Fodder TV. Hit the bell notification button so you can be part of the bigger community here on Cannon Fodder TV. James, my good friends.
Good afternoon, Alex. If I can start by wishing everyone at Cannon Fodder a huge congratulations on your achievement of 1 million views in just under 3 years. As someone who's also started very small with my own professional interviews with players and managers, I know what it's like to put in the hard work, and from small acorns grow big oak trees. So what you and your brother have achieved is tremendous, and I must say as well, I tweeted out earlier, that there's so many podcasts in the world, so many, but in particularly with the Arsenal fans, very few have the standards that you and your brother have always adhered to, and especially with the more regular subscribers, it's nice that different fans from all over the world have been able to see the high standards that you and your brother have put together. So congratulations from my point of view, and wishing you all the best for the future.
James, thank you very much, James. Like I said, it's I think some people think we've been a fly by night podcast. No, we've been going for almost 3 years, and we've had some low points, and we've had lots of high points. And the high points for me has been able to, galvanize people from all over the world. You've seen this time round. We've got new faces on the podcast. Unfortunately, there's some faces who have not returned, but this is what I wanted. I wanted the community here to evolve and grow as well. But yeah, I'm so humbled. I mean, the support we've had over the last 2 years and 8 months has been absolutely wonderful. And James, again, we started out on a Mr. Arsenal podcast a couple of years ago, and
we did thanks to Ryan, and Ryan also does a very, very good podcast. Ryan is also a top guy. We started out on that podcast together, and
we did.
You invited me back, and I kind of found my niche with the European matches, and that's why we're here tonight. We're here tonight to discuss Rapid Vienna Arsenal on Thursday, and I'm sure regular listeners and viewers will know, but they'll probably be able to say which words I'm going to say now. 27 years without a European trophy. This is the time. The time is now. And we've got to give it our all. This is our 4th season in the Europa League. And we're in a group with Rapid Vienna, Molde, and Dundalk. Some people already looking to the knockout phase. We've got to take it one game at a time. We've got to kind of turn up on it in every single game and try to win our first European trophy since 1994. And fingers crossed we can do it.
Yeah. James, do you think there's any possibility that the team might think, oh, we're already through? That's just these teams, Dundalk and Rapid Vienna, are not.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that would just show their ignorance. All of these teams have played European football in recent years. One of the team that we are playing have won the Austrian National Championship 32 times and the Austrian Cup 14 times. People like to malign it and say that it's not a tough league. But again, if you have a league with Rapid Vienna, Austria Vienna, Salzburg, Sturm Graz, Linz as well, who's played Champions League football in the qualifiers recently.
Mm.
Linz were not so long ago an Austrian third division team. And the last domestic game that Rapid Vienna played, they beat them 3-0. And they've got some good players. They've got a very good manager as well in Dietmar Kubaya, who was a former Austrian international who also played for Real Sociedad. One of their best players, Barnsley fans might know him, Marcel Ritzmaier. He's on loan from Barnsley at Rapid Vienna. I know him from his time in the Netherlands with PSV Eindhoven and Cambuur Leeuwarden. He's a very tricky, pacey winger, can shoot really, really hard, very inventive. And it's a challenge for us. It's a challenge for us. If I look into last season's Europa League, we faced Standard Liège, Eintracht Frankfurt, and Vitória Guimarães. I was at two of those 3 home games in the group phase, and we only won one, and that was against a very poor Standard Liège. We just about got through against Guimarães. And then, and obviously, we lost to Frankfurt. And people say that it's not the Champions League. I've been watching the Europa League firsthand with Arsenal. I started out when I went back for Wisła Ottawa, and then Sporting Lisbon, and then before that, even Ostersund and Atletico Madrid, and Rennes and Bati Borisov and Napoli. And it's and Frankfurt and Standard Liège. People need to do a little bit of digging, Alex, and realise that these are not small clubs. They're not small clubs, and they need to understand as well that apart from the commercialism in recent years, the biggest factor is that the gap between the seasoned European teams and the smaller European teams is decreasing year upon year upon year because the coaching worldwide and European-wide is better. The scouting networks are better. So I always enjoy European matches. Normally, if we didn't have a COVID situation, I would already be booked up for Dundalk at home, but unfortunately, that's not the case. And I always come alive for European games. But this is an opportunity. This is a tremendous opportunity this season to win a European trophy.
Okay. Just kind of fast forward. Do you think Arsenal will win a trophy this season? And if so, which trophy or which cup do you think Arsenal are most likeliest to win this season?
I think the most likeliest will be the League Cup. I think you've got to be very lucky to think that you're going to win the FA Cup for a 15th time. And also in the Europa League, you only have to look at the teams that were eliminated before we even got to the group stage. Besiktas, Sporting Lisbon, Basel, Rio Ave pushed AC Milan extremely hard. These are teams that were playing group phase in European football for years on end recently. Basel and Sporting Lisbon in particular, and Besiktas were used to playing Champions League group phase football. And this year they didn't even reach the qualifiers. So one thing I always do is I try to educate people that Europe is tough. You can't breeze through. I think the arrogance to think that we're all ready for the knockout phase. There's teams that come down from the Europa League. There's always surprises. Real Sociedad are top in Spain, the top of the league. Villarreal, Unai Emery's Villarreal are second in the league. They had an awful opening day against Barcelona, but since then they've been doing very, very well. They're also in the Europa League. Teams like Nice, for example, Bayer Leverkusen. So we've got to respect every opponent. And, we are a big club. We know what we are. But the fact remains we haven't won a European trophy for 27 years. And I was very young when Arsenal won that European trophy, Alex. It remains one of my most fondest memories. Right up there with the Invincibles, right up there with the double of 98, the double of 2002. That whole journey, which started in Odense, where a very young Thomas Helveg, who people know from AC Milan and Denmark, was playing for Odense. And then, the journey of going to Standard Liège and winning 7-0 away from home. This was recently after English clubs were banned from Europe. and then Arsenal go away and smash Standard Liège 7-1, I believe, in Belgium it was. And I mean, the semi-final, of course, with Paris Saint-Germain, a very good Paris Saint-Germain with the likes of Paul Le Guen and a couple of well-known players. David Ginola as well was playing, I believe, played in that game. And the whole journey, there wasn't much football on the TV those in that time, 1994. I remember asking my mum if I could stay up late to watch the games because obviously it was a school night, and she let me do it. And the whole journey was just amazing. And I, before the corona outbreak, Alex, as you know, attending Arsenal matches from the Netherlands, for nearly the last 10 seasons, but I would always prioritise European games, always. Whether that be Rennes, Sporting Lisbon, Standard Liège, Oostersunds, always. Because it's not every day you get the opportunity to see these teams play. And in the case of Rennes, for example, Rennes are now playing Champions League football. I remember when I went to Arsenal Rennes and people were saying, "Oh, we'll put them away within 15 minutes. They're no good." Rennes are an excellent side with excellent players, and they're now playing Champions League football. So it just goes to show the arrogance and the ignorance. Rennes have made so many strides in recent years for a provincial club that was only ever really known for their derby against Nantes. To now be playing Champions League football, and I think they got half a chance of getting through the group. To be honest, I know it's Chelsea, Sevilla, and Krasnodar, but I wouldn't write them off.
James, the last time we got into Europa League final was under Unai Emery.
Yep.
Whenever we have this conversation, we are in a minority.
We are.
And
we are.
I can't. This time round, the furthest I think I can see Arsenal getting is probably to the quarterfinals. I can't see Arsenal winning the Europa League this time round. We had our chance. Under Unai Emery, only for us to fluff our lines. Players. And again, I guess maybe you got to blame Unai Emery in some parts, but the players didn't turn up on the biggest stage.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
First and foremost, if we go back to the beginning, I hear a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, say to me, "Oh, we lost the Champions League in the last 4 games of the season. All we needed to do was get a win." That's not correct. We lost our Champions League campaign due to a very difficult December and a poor start to the new year, where we won the derby and then had a difficult December where we lost to Southampton in away from home. Well, I think we was winning that game as well, I believe, and or we was leading at one point. We lost away to West Ham, and the vitriol towards Unai Emery is nothing short of disgusting. I mean, I interviewed his former Real Sociedad teammate Imanol Diakes, who's now coaching in Cyprus, and he was telling me that Unai Emery is not just a tremendous manager, but also a friend of his. And managers need time. And people say, "Oh, you don't get time." But in my privileged position, Alex, of speaking to professional players and managers, you come to understand how important timing is. Like, for example, Arsenal spent 30 million euros on Gabriel. I saw Gabriel play 3 stray passes from the back last Saturday away to Man City. 3, not 1, 3. And I'm not being funny, but I don't think Daniel Ballard or Mark McGuinness would give 3 stray passes away like that. And I'll give you an example. Everybody thought Aston Villa were dead and buried at the end of last season. Everyone thought they were dead and buried. What have Aston Villa done? They've learned from their mistakes. And they've gone out and brought, in particular, 2 excellent players. One of them who should still be our player, but unfortunately that's not the case, and Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins has did a tremendous job for Brentford. A real pacey winger, a real goal threat. And look at Aston Villa now. Look at Aston Villa now, absolutely flying, and they're also a massive club. But we didn't learn from our mistakes at all. We did not learn. We have not learned. We have not learned. I think it's being masked by the Aubameyang contract. It's being masked by the wages of Partey. But I remember through the years, I mean, I'm showing my age now, but when George Graham was in charge, and to get that new contract over the line, you kind of really had to fight tooth and nail for it. And the 1 year rolling contract that Arsene Wenger would have, and for Arsenal to pay 4 players who are not young players. People are obsessed with resale value in this day and age. Where's the resale value? Willian, Aubameyang, Partey and Ozil for another season are earning in excess of €1,250,000 a week. And people say, oh, it's football, this is the name of the game in this day and age. We're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. People are struggling, countries are struggling. It's irresponsible to go out and spend money on players in positions that you don't necessarily need. What happens to Smith Rowe now? What happens to Ballard now? What happens to McGuinness now? People say to me, oh, if they played for Arsenal, we'd finish 16th. And I try to explain to them, Alex, do you know what it does to a player? Do you know what it does to a player when they can't play? Mentally, do you know what it does to a player when their growth is stunted, when they can't crack on? Daniel Ballard has already played international football for his country. We brought Saliba. Saliba played alongside Ballard in the under-23s. And Daniel Ballard is the one captaining the under-23s. So why was the need to go out and buy Gabriel? What, because he's 6 foot tall? Daniel Ballard's 6 foot tall as well. If you look at Gabriel before Lille, he played for Troyes and Dynamo Zagreb. So all of a sudden, playing for Troyes and Dynamo Zagreb is good enough to play for Arsenal, is he? It's completely rushed. And I'd like to shine a light on Chelsea. The boss of the transfers of Chelsea is a woman, Marina Grashova, I believe her name is. I've heard firsthand from an agent that she is an absolute joy to work with. Yes means yes, no means no, and the inbox is completely empty. There's no messing around with agents. It's a complete clear answer. And I look at Arsenal and I look at our current owner, and people say, yes, he spent money, but we are not his priority, Alex. And if you own anything in life, whether it's a car, it's a house, any possession of worth that means something to you, if you don't look after it, it's going to decay. And I cannot see Arsenal making any significant progress until Kroenke is gone. On Twitter, I'm looked upon as negative, but I'm not negative. Why would I spend my money before a COVID outbreak to fly all the way from Amsterdam on average 5 games a season to watch my team play if I was negative? I'm just trying to give people a different perspective of I am in a privileged position speaking to players and managers. So I get to hear stories and anecdotes and the way players and managers think and what they have to deal with. And other fans do not. This is not Championship Manager. This is not Premier League Manager. This is real life. And players where their pathway is stunted. You showed a picture just there of Sack Medley. Sack Medley played in that game against False Club Ottawa in September 2018. He was subsequently on the bench for the away game at Leicester. He's now playing for Gillingham. He's now on loan at Gillingham. With the greatest respect to Gillingham, 1 minute you're playing Europa League football, 1 minute you're included in Premier League squads, the next minute you're playing for Gillingham, and it's not his fault. It's not his fault, but we needed to have a bit of backbone and a bit of structure. And there was an interview with Arsene Wenger from, I think, on the eve of the cup final at Chelsea in 2017, and he made an absolutely wonderful point where he said that in this day and age, people are not concerned if it's the right decision. They're only concerned if it's popular. Oh, he's worth £250 million. He must be amazing. But nobody looks, can he dribble? Can he pass? Does he have vision? And I try to explain to people, Alex, that people ask me for my opinion on this transfer window. And I sum it up in 3 words: a missed opportunity. And people look at me as if I'm an alien. And all I said was, with a missed opportunity, is go through that youth setup with a fine tooth comb, give the young players a pathway, and then go out and spend in the positions you need to spend. What happens to Smith Rowe now? What happens to Smith Rowe? Did you know here in the Netherlands that when young players exchange clubs, sometimes the parent club can ask for like a form of compensation because they spent years training that young player up? And I think that's what a lot of Arsenal fans in particular forget, the effort which has been put in to train our young players up. You didn't just get them off the street. They were scouted at 6 and 7. I spoke to Charlie Gilmore back in April. You know, when he said that when you're at Arsenal, everything's on a plate for you. Best coaches, get to travel around the world, get to do amazing things. And he said a very important thing, Alex. He said to me that when you leave in such an environment, you automatically think you got clubs queuing around the block. But what they come to realise is the Championship and the competitive game in England, not many are willing to take a chance on a young man or a young boy in a man's game because they want results straight away. And I just think Arsenal have missed an opportunity. Really, I do. And we've played 5 games this season. We've lost away at City. We've lost away at Liverpool. And look at our fixture list. At home to Leicester, away to Manchester United, at home to Villa, away to Leeds. It's not going to get any easier. And people
Absolutely.
like to pinpoint, Alex. Oh, Arteta's done this, Arteta's done that. First, let me say one thing. I'm delighted that Arteta won the FA Cup and the Charity Shield with Arsenal, but the fact remains he has no subsequent experience to fall back on. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. Because he started his position as manager of Arsenal Football Club last December. And he's coming up against Jurgen Klopp, who used to manage Mainz, a Guardiola, who started out with Barcelona B, a Chris Wilder, who has an awful lot of experience, and Marcelo Bielsa, who's a truly world-class manager. And at that level, the small, minute details. I mean, I've seen some people on the Twitter that say, we only lost 1-0. It shows progress. It doesn't show any progress at all. You had Aubameyang laughing at the end of the game. Laughing. It's great work if you can get it, isn't it? Alex, I saw him. I saw him do the same against Eintracht Frankfurt last November. Only home fans were allowed. There wasn't many fans in attendance. I was one of them. Subsequently made the journey down to Norwich for the away game. The goalkeeper had an amazing game. But I saw him do the same. And Aubameyang, when it's the video of his unveiling, and he says, I want to be an Arsenal legend. I want to be like a Thierry Henry. I want to be an Ian Wright. I want to be a Bergkamp. He forgets one very, very small, minute thing. And that is those 3 players in particular are legends because each of them played a huge part in Arsenal winning Premier League titles. Massive. Bergkamp, Henry and Ian Wright. And I'm not being funny, Aubameyang isn't going to win the league with Arsenal. And so I can understand where he's coming from. But I just think he's got it made, Alex. Like David Luiz, he's got it made. When you've got Oscar saying, David Luiz and Willian are trying to get me to sign for Arsenal. What, are they in charge of the club now, are they? I know it's not Paul Lederson of George Graham. I know it's not Paul Lederson and Stefan Schwarz. But it just appears that the players are running the show. And until we get away from that mentality, I can't see us making any subsequent progress. And it starts at the top with the owner. If we had an owner where we were his priority and he's working day in, day out to make sure that Arsenal are in tip-top condition, we would have half a chance. But instead, he's investing in a £1.2 billion stadium at the LA Rams with all the special widescreen and all the bells and whistles. And then we're left with what we're left. And fingers crossed a new owner can come in sooner rather than later.
And also, James, whenever I get like a small rant about when we buy these players coming at millions of pounds, the players who have played at under 19s or under 23 level,
No,
chances diminishes automatically. And people,
yeah,
they forget the likes of Tony Adams came through
yeah,
the academy. O'Leary came through the academy.
yeah,
Rocastle came through. All these players came through the academy.
yeah,
So unless you give them a
yeah,
chance, you're not going to know what
exactly.
they're capable of doing. And so, what's going to
Eh,
happen to Mark McGuinness? What's going to happen to your Medleys, your
Yeah,
Ballards? What's going to happen
yeah,
to those players there? What is the point of having an academy if you're not going to give them a chance, at least a few minutes in the first team there,
yeah,
get them the feeling of what it means to be in the first team? Their chances just diminishes automatically, James. There's no
absolutely.
chance.
And well, for me, I mean, I've been on social media with my interviews, Alex, for 4 years. And the day that we signed Gabriel, I put out a tweet saying, in my opinion, this blocks the pathway for McGuinness and Ballard. Look at Kevin Campbell. Look at David Rocastle. Look at O'Leary and Adams. Where did they come from? I turned my phone off. I went to the cinema. I come back, put my phone on. My phone exploded. 150 likes, 150 comments, 150 retweets. Some of it which were ridiculously abusive. And it led me to think to myself, my priority is my own interviews with professional players and managers. So I love in the format of speaking to you and on other podcasts, such with Ryan and other Arsenal podcasts, giving my opinion on such a platform like this. Fantastic, wonderful. But
Mm,
I've decided now on my timeline, I'm not going to give my opinion anymore because the abuse is abhorrent. And
yeah.
all you're trying to do is educate people. I'm not trying to say that I'm right. Oh, look at me. But when you have a young player saying to me, particularly someone who left the Arsenal Academy as recently as not last April, but the April before, in Charlie Gilmore, saying to me that this coming through the youth setup at Arsenal, you are handed lots and lots of different things. You are treated impeccably, and then you see that the opportunity that is not there to go and play games, so you have to go elsewhere, and then you have clubs not wanting to take a chance on a young boy in a man's game.
Mm,
And for me, it's not always about being right; it's about giving someone a different perspective. I mean, I look back on an amazing portfolio of 250 interviews with the likes of Rule Fox, Jamie Carragher, Simon Barker, Bob Wilson. You know, Bob Wilson telling me that an Arsenal legend through and through, Bob Wilson telling me that the 1969 Cup final defeat was so demoralising and so embarrassing that Frank McClintock is rallying the troops, saying we have got to come back and ram this down everybody's throats, and that's exactly what they did.
mm,
And you've
mm,
always got to look at the human element. Like, I mean, I spoke to Rule Fox and I asked him about Monster, and he was so taken aback, Alex. He said, "Never
mm,
in a million years, James, did I think you'd ask me about that." And I said that there's so many football writers, Rule. I said I try to stand out in my own way. You know, obviously interviewing Dutch players and managers in their mother tongue, interviewing in Spanish as well. And you try to stand out in your own way, and it's bearing fruit. But you've got to look at the human side of things. And when I see people lauding, buying, and not thinking about the welfare of a player, you can have players that fall out of love with the game, that stopped playing. Do you
mm.
remember? Do you remember years ago a young defender by the name of John Halls? Do you remember him?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I've
He
spoken about
he
him.
was
Yeah.
so he was so disillusioned with football. I think he quit the game and opened up his own clothes shop.
Mm. The human
And
element.
I remember being at a League Cup game against Manchester United in the League Cup in 2001, I think it was, and he was warming up right beside me. And I kind of leant over and I said, John, I think you're going to be brilliant. I think you're going to be amazing. You're going to be the next Tony Adams. And he turned around and he smiled. But obviously, I was a very young very young supporter. But I was so pleased that you got a young defender coming to warm up in front of me. Why
Mm.
can't I give him a few words of encouragement?
Listen, anyone just watching now, I've got James Rowe, my good friend. We're just talking about Europa League action. We're back in action this Thursday against Rapid Vienna. I've also been talking about the academy. the Unsustainables, as I call them, Gabriel, put so much money for the exchange for Aubameyang. I put out a poll yesterday in regards to is it time to drop Aubameyang? And there's why should we drop Aubameyang? I said, well, you got to play players on form. If he's not on form, surely he needs to be dropped. You don't want players thinking they have a divine right to be in the starting 11 there. But let me go into in the live chat and see who we have here. We've got the Assembled who says, good afternoon, Alex and James. Good afternoon to you as well, the Assembled.
Hello. Good afternoon to you too.
And line one says, hello, Alex. It's been a while. My friend James, how are you doing?
Hey, Larry. I hope he's doing well. Yes, I'm doing well, very well. Thank you. Hope you are too.
Brilliant. Why does Arteta keep our best signings on the bench while playing big teams, James?
Lack of experience and guile, potentially, and but people forget how long a football season actually is. It's a long old slog. It's always been a long old slog, but I think some people want to run before they can walk. But I mean, look at Aston Villa, stayed up on the last day and are now firing on all cylinders. I'm jealous with their goalkeeper. 3 clean sheets in their last 4 games. Is Aston Villa's defence better than Arsenal's? Is it, or what is it?
James, don't get me started.
No, but it's the small, minute details. Did you see the comments from Bert Leno after the Liverpool game?
I did.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Now I want to make one thing clear. There's no doubt he had a tremendous game. There's no doubt about that. And thanks to him, we got through to the next round. Brilliant. But there was no need to kind of thump your chest and say that I'm number one. I proved I'm number one. In my opinion, Martinez is still a better goalkeeper. And now what happens to Matt Macey? What happens to Matt Macey? So Martinez goes. Matt Macey is ready. But oh no, we'll go out and sign a young Iceland player from Dijon for 1.3 million. 1.3 million is a lot of money. It's not. People seem to think, it's not 50 million, but the homegrown, you spend all these years training these young players up just to kind of send them away. We had an opportunity this summer, which is why I go back to my missed opportunity point, Alex. Ballard, McGuinness, and Smith Rowe. That's 3 places right in the first team squad. 3 of them. I agree that in the position of Partey, we needed to strengthen, and we managed to do it. But Partey is also 27 years old. He's no spring chicken, and people seem to be obsessed with resale value. So it's going to be a very long and arduous season, but hopefully a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, or maybe a trophy this season. Who knows?
Okay. Don 1982 says, hi, Alex. I hope all is well. Yes, I'm fine. I hope you are keeping safe. Say hello to your family from everyone on Cannon for Your TV. I've got Luca says, Arteta should wake up or forfeit top 4. Listen, I've said I'm going to be consistent in this message. Arsenal will not get top 4 this season. I'm going for a 6th place finish this season. James?
Yeah, no, I agree. I received an awful lot of criticism when somebody asked me where I thought Arsenal would finish. I said 7th. They asked me my opinion why. I said because there's 6 better teams and 6 better managers, and some of the abuse was horrific. And I tried to explain to them that managers like Bielsa, Klopp, Hasenhüttl at Southampton, you see, I mean, they lost 9-0 last season. Most clubs would have dispensed to their manager, but no, they come back. They were losing 2-0 away to Chelsea, I believe, and they managed to secure a draw. So, I think Arsenal fans, we need to get out of our own bubble a little bit. We never used to be like this. For me, that's the saddest thing. We never used to be like this. And that's the thing that upsets me the most, Alex. When I was a kid, in my formative years going to Highbury, I know that times have changed and society has changed. But, I mean, I'll tell you what happened to me in my last Arsenal game before the COVID outbreak. I was in the clock ends watching Arsenal Sheffield United. I come out of the grounds and there was this young Arsenal fan saying, Sheffield United are rubbish. We're better than them. We should be higher than them. And I tried to explain to him that at that moment in time, they are everything we are not. They are a real proper team with a real proper manager, no hairs and graces, and everybody fights for one another. And I told him that, and he said, "Oh yeah, but we should still be above them." And I thought, well, no, next time I won't say nothing. But you try to enlighten people and give them facts and tell them the reasons why, not to be an oracle, not to be a know-all, but to kind of help them to think maybe next time before they open their mouth, they can look at things and maybe judge things in a different way.
But you know what, James, as well, I think we've spoken about this before. I mean, the last time, Arsenal won in some European silverware, it's 27 years.
Yeah,
That's like half my lifetime. And a lot of the fan base have not seen that silverware come to Arsenal.
no,
You even go to the Premier League, our longest stretch that winning the Premier League, 16 years.
yeah,
16 years and we're not going to win it anytime soon, James.
no.
We're not going to win the Premier League anytime soon.
If you're kind, you would say maybe maybe five, maybe around five. If you're kind, if you're really kind, but it stems with the owner. I mean, the owner, the African richest man in Africa, Larry will know his name,
Yeah,
and
Dangote. Dangote.
yeah, Larry. I knew that Larry would know his name. I watched an interview with him, and he said, they said, "Oh, you still want to buy Arsenal?" He said, "Yes, in 2021." And they said, well, "Why not? Why wait? Why not start now?" He said, "Well, I'm a businessman, and we've got other commitments." And I thought to myself, "That's really impressive." And do you
Yeah.
think that the Gote would suffer fools? Do you think
No,
that he would
no.
tolerate people spending his money in positions that don't need to be strengthened? I think he would come down on people like a ton of bricks, and that is what we need. That is what we need at the minute. We have an owner who's, as a token, throwing transfer fees around to appease fans, but they're not necessarily in positions that we need them. We didn't need Gabriel. When we signed Gabriel, we had 11 defenders on the books, Alex. 11 defenders on the books, excluding the academy. So why do we need a 12th? Because he had a good season at Lille. Did nobody tap anybody on the shoulder and say, can we have a look where he was before his good season at Lille? It's the same with Pepe. We're still paying in instalments for Pepe. That won't be paid next week. That won't be paid next month. That still won't be paid next year. And this is real money we're talking about. So this is what I mean about a missed opportunity, in my opinion.
Back in the live chat, Larry One goes on to say that the group stage might be easy, but let's not forget that teams are going to drop from Champions League and Europa. I think we should look past the group stage and prepare for the future.
I think Larry's got a point about the teams that drop down, but if you look in recent years, one team has always reached the final, which started out in the competition. Back in August, Sevilla, Inter. A few seasons ago with Arsenal, Chelsea as well. I believe I think Chelsea even dropped down from the Champions League, if my memory serves me rightly. And then you had the likes of Marseille reaching the final, Ajax reaching the final. There's always teams that you don't expect. We were knocked out at the last 32. You were there. Now, that was swept under the carpet. No, don't talk about it. But it's an awful result. Delighted we won the FA Cup. Brilliant. But can you imagine if we hadn't have done? Especially reaching the final the year before. So I agree with you. I think quarterfinals, but we should really be going all out to win it. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Lucas says, the question I want to ask here is, why do we have to buy Willian at the age of 31 or 32 years when the speed is not there?
I think he makes a great point. He makes a great point. But this is what I mean about taking your time and judging things properly. What did David Luiz have a word? Did he say it's part of his contract extension that we signed Willian? Obviously that he's trying to kind of arrange Oscar as well, plays for Chelsea. We need to stand above it. We need to stand above it. And when you've got David Luiz receiving an extension, and then after that, the naivety to think that he can plan a career, Alaku makes a great point. There was no need to sign Willian. There was no need. And, yes, he had a great debut against Fulham, but the pace does decline as years goes on. And we've got some good wingers in the youth setup, but we're paying Willian, I think in excess of £200,000 a week. £200,000 a week. Aubameyang, £400,000 a week. Ozil, for at least another season, £350,000 a week. Thomas Partey, £260,000 a week. And there were 55 Arsenal employees made redundant. If you were one of the 55, I wonder how you'd be feeling right now.
Quite sick. Just look at the average age of Aston Villa players, their speed on the field, or play all because they replays on they rely on younger players.
Yeah, I think that's the point. If I can just elaborate on that, I think that's the point. That's the point of the night, Alex. I think that's the best point of the night. I mean, I always enjoy people in the chat. I think they're really, really knowledgeable. But I think the point just made by Aliku about Aston Villa, spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Why couldn't we do that? Is Ollie Watkins not good enough for Arsenal then?
Jobs for the boys, James. Jobs for the boys. That's what it is. That's what it is. The Assemble says, hey, James, that's not a popular train of thought. You seem to use common sense, but I've realised common sense isn't that common. That's what my mum always said.
Yeah. Well, I just try to say what I see. And also, obviously, I've been an Arsenal fan for 30 years. For the last 4 years, I've been interviewing professional players and managers firsthand, and I've learned an awful lot. My understanding of the game has improved. I mean, it was already good, but obviously when you're speaking to players and managers on a regular basis and you're hearing their thought process, you're hearing what they have to go through, the decisions they have to make, it helps you to include, to improve your knowledge and to think about what you say. And I just try to educate other people in that respect. So take it and leave it, But it's always nice to let people know these things, and they can take what they want from it, really.
Yeah. The Assemble says, do you believe that signing Aubameyang, Luiz, William, Suarez, and Mane is taking Arsenal forward, James?
No, I don't. Pablo Mari was playing for NAC Breda here in the Netherlands in 2017. So 1 minute you're playing for NAC Breda, who are a very well respected club here in the Netherlands, currently First Division, and the next minute you're playing for Arsenal. And obviously he's had I think spells at Girona as well, but he's on the payroll along with Suarez. He's on the payroll along with Willian and Luiz and Aubameyang. They're on the payroll. And I said it to you privately as well. I've also said it on Twitter. I don't believe that these wages are sustainable long term without Champions League football.
Yeah.
And only when it starts to get really, really difficult will people understand. But then it's very easy for the players then, isn't it? They haven't lost. Then the players haven't lost anything, Alex, because if Arsenal have to sell, it will be, I didn't want to go. But yet you still sign the contract worth 400 grand a week. So this is what I mean. It's kind of like a catch-22 in that respect.
Let me try and run through this very, very quickly before I wrap this one up. David Trowell, who I keep forgetting, I need to make him one of our additional moderators there. He says, I don't agree. Auba's clearly burnt out. We need to be careful with Auba, as he could end up like Sanchez, running on empty. We can't make this mistake with Aubameyang. And then Colin Young, good evening, Colin Young says, God bless you, James. Let the truth be light.
In the words of the great Brian Clough, and when I had the tweet about Ballard and McGuinness, and I was quite shocked, but I don't read comments. But when you scroll and you see some horrible things, I thought I thought I would sign off by quoting the great Brian Clough, which is, when you give an opinion, you always upset somebody.
Don Juan says, why doesn't Kroenke sell to the African fellow that has made offers already a few times? Because he looks at Arsenal as a business. That's why. If Kroenke cannot put cash into the club, it benefits him. Well, like we said, Dangote, he said he's got other projects, but he's probably thinking about 2021 to make a real shout and buy Arsenal of Kroenke.
Yeah,
So
but you just hope that common sense prevails, and it's not about greed, but I believe the Gote would be much more hands on.
yeah,
He would be
yeah.
much more hands on. He would
Hmm.
actually want to see what's going on. I'm not saying he has to decide, but I think he's smart enough to understand and look at things. I mean, if you said to the Gote, we're going to, if the Gote is speaking to the board, and they said, oh, we want to sign another defender, and the Gote says, how many defenders have you got? Oh, we've got 11, excluding the academy. Then I think the Gote would say, "Well, what are you doing spending my money on a 12th defender if you've already got 11, excluding the academy?" And this is what we need now. We need an owner who's kind of going to come in and start again, literally as if you're building a house. You put the first pole in the ground and you build from the ground up, and
Hmm.
only then I think will we make significant progress, in my opinion.
Okay, let me try and run through these very, very quickly. I've got DWTT says, hello, Alex. Great to see James Rowe on your channel. Thank you for that,
Hello.
DWTT.
Thank you very
From
much.
Financially, he sits there 5 to 6 times a year, laughing the whole way through the game, has no interest in the team, only from financial point of view.
Mm.
Well, he's a businessman, isn't he?
Yeah.
Every other club is investing. He hasn't.
Mm.
Majid says, hi, Alex. Majid, I hope you are well. Drop Uber. What about a support service that he needs? William didn't provide the support he needed. Laka did.
It's also a team game, though, isn't it? You can't pinpoint just one area of the midfield. It's a team game.
Yep.
It's a team game, and it's about, Aubameyang is a tremendous striker on his day. Turned up in the FA Cup final. That needs to be commended. An amazing finish, but we need to start working as a collective. And Aubameyang is our captain. And a captain has to lead from the front. A captain isn't just, to have the money on your bank account. The captain isn't just the shining lights on TV. There's also a job to be done. I've spoken to captains before, and did you know that captains also have a role to do in the with the PFA? They have to deal with the PFA on behalf of the club, on behalf of the team. And these are things that people forget, and people maybe want to hide away from these responsibilities, but they're also vitally important and they need to be done.
I think Arteta tried something new in playing William as a false nine, and it backfired. I think he should just play people in their best positions. That's a good shout, actually.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
live
very
rent
good.
free in your head says, Alex, you want to put a pin, a pint on it. A pint on what? What? That's what you're talking about there. Question: Will Arteta the same 11 in consecutive games? Oh, will he use the same 11? No one from the first 2 Premier League games is injured, but he didn't play some of them versus Man City. Laka, especially Saka, deserves a spot on, but so does Laka. So, do you think he'll play players?
I think he'll make changes, but I hope he respects Rapid Vienna. And we've got to look ahead as well to the Leicester game on Sunday. Games come thick and fast. We need to get off to a winning start in the Europa League. We did it last season against a very poor Standard Liège, I might say, but still, still a win is a win. And we've got to get off to a winning start. Vienna is a beautiful city as well. A shame for the away fans that they can't go. And I remember watching Rapid Vienna beat Ajax here in Amsterdam in 2015, I believe it was. And they really did have something about them. Their fans were absolutely raucous. So a shame for the Arsenal fan, but they can't experience the match in Vienna.
Okay, let me just pick and choose just this last two before we wrap this one up. Majid says, and about Pepe, again, we did need a winger, but was Pepe a good buy? A good buy. It was a risk, and so far it hasn't paid off well. But that football, it happens to other teams too. I mean, James, again, it's not an unfair comparison between Pepe and Saka, and I just get the feeling that if you didn't know, you would have thought that we spent that sum of money on Saka and not Pepe.
Hey,
Pepe is
yeah, well, I agree, but it's also the fact that Majid says it hasn't paid off, but the fee has still not been paid off. So in real footballing life, it still comes off the books. It's not an imaginary bank account that kind of just sits on a magic carpet. This is what I mean about being bold, being resilient, and making decisions that are maybe not even popular. Because at the minute, Leeds and Aston Villa are making so much more progress than Arsenal. Leeds because of their manager, because of their style of play, because of the progression they've made, and Aston Villa because of their signings and their confidence. I mean, Aston Villa need to be commended for going out and buying a tremendous goalkeeper. I mean, I saw your tweet about parrying it into danger.
Mm.
Do you think Martinez would have done that?
No,
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 because
no.
when we were playing under Martinez as our goalkeeper, Alex, he gave the back four confidence, and that's why you saw a confident David Luiz, a confident Bellerin. The confidence was oozing because they knew there was someone behind them, guiding them every step of the way. Amazing, brilliant. And we made an awful decision, which is going to come back to bite us in the backside, I think.
Yeah. This last couple of live chats in here. Also believe Arsenal are run by the players. I hate mentioning him, but I feel our number 10 is running the dressing room.
Yeah. No,
I don't know. I'm not
Don
gonna
makes no, but Don makes a great point. The Arsenal
yeah,
is being run by the players, and has been run by the players for a long, long, long time. I think
yeah.
Don, along with Aluku, with the point of Aston Villa, they're the two best points of the night. But the sad fact is, what Don is saying, the majority of Arsenal fans don't want to hear it. But what he's saying is the truth, and I fully agree with him.
Kennedy, good evening. He says Arsenal is a big club, but we are failing to spend more. See Everton, they have invest in order for us to achieve more. We need to spend more to win trophies. We also need to buy a striker. Stopping make a bus. I'm not sure what you mean by that. We
Maybe
need to spend
Park.
more money, James.
Well, look who Everton brought. They brought Alan from Napoli, but people forget before Napoli he played over 100 games for Udinese. You know, so he's got over 200 games experience in Serie A. And also James Rodriguez and Lucas Digne, who I believe came for the youth set up at Paris Saint-Germain, which is no mean
Good point,
feat.
James. Good
This is
point.
this is what I mean about identifying players. I mean, I was raving about Benjamin Boriscio at Rennes. He's playing Champions League football this week. And people were saying about Aouar, it's brilliant. Boriscio has got twice as much experience as Aouar, came through the youth set up at Lens, and wouldn't cost a third of what Aouar would cost. And I could give you lots of examples. People talk bad of Tottenham, obviously the healthy rivalry, but I must commend them for signing Reguilon from Real Madrid. What a signing that is! An amazing signing. I think he either scored or assisted at the weekend. You know, won the Europa League with Sevilla, came for the youth set up at Real Madrid. An excellent player. An excellent player. And this is what I mean about identifying players. And I say to people watching this channel tonight, if you have the opportunity to watch a player, if you're watching a game of football and a player catches your eye, keep an eye on them. Keep an eye on them. I remember watching Diego Godin when he played for Villarreal. I remember watching Boriscio. I didn't know nothing about Boriscio not last March, but the March before. Brilliant player, an amazing player. I remember watching Griezmann at Sociedad. Fantastic, brilliant player. And there's lots of other examples. And you know, if we as fans can see these things, why can't the scouts of the club see them too?
Listen, gentlemen, I'm going to let Don one have the last say in the live chat. And he says, I also believe we need to get the players off social media like Twitter, and making friends with the public and concentrate on themselves and
Mm.
not on their look.
An excellent point, because some are far too obsessed with their look than actually what they do on the pitch. And in turn, some fans will, the highlight of their lives is a like from a professional footballer. Now that
Yeah,
says a lot, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
says a lot. I mean, I've been speaking to them regularly for 4 years, but I treat everybody the same. I speak to Jamie Carragher and Bob Wilson the same way I would speak to a Luke Moore of Dorking United, the same way that I would speak to a Dutch player playing in Grenoble or playing in Germany. It's all about your integrity and keeping up to date and showing respect to all professional players and managers at all levels.
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to wrap this one up. But before I do, a little announcement. I did say it from my my gambit. Little celebratory announcement in regards to yeah, the YouTube channel has now reached the milestone of 1 million viewers, and it's not because of myself. It's not because of the panelists. It's not because of the videos and the special effects. It's because it's been a team effort. Everyone who's ever watched California TV over the last 2 years and 8 months, thank you to each and every one of you. I always feel like I've forgotten our fan base on Facebook, but everyone on Facebook, hello from California TV, and a big thank you to you as well as everyone on Twitter and of course on YouTube channel there. It's been a journey, and the journey continues. We go onwards and upwards. I'm not sure where the journey is going to take California TV, but it's been a real blast, and it's been a real pleasure to have James Rowe, celebrating the millionth view on our Canon 42. James, literally, thank you for your advice as well as your commentary on everything on Canon 42 TV. James, thank you so very much. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. I hope you enjoy the celebrations. Great to speak on Cannon Fodder as always. Great questions tonight in particular. That's something I really enjoy, especially the respect shown from us to the viewers and from the viewers to us. Absolutely tremendous. If I can just sign off by saying, for the people that are new and that haven't seen me before, you can always follow me on @JamesRoweNL. You can keep up to date with my latest interviews with professional players and managers. Kmar Roof of Glasgow Rangers, my interview with him will be released tomorrow. And then upcoming interviews will include the likes of Jerry Gill, who played for Birmingham City, now managing Bath City, and also Momo Yansana, who played a majority of his career in Africa. And it was really interesting to hear about his career playing in Morocco, playing in different parts of Africa, and his hopes and ambitions for the future. So I hope you all enjoy them.
But also, as usual, whenever James is on, I will leave James's Twitter handle, which is at James Rowe NL, in the comments box once we're done and dusted on this live segment on the evening, Monday evening. Guys, it's been a real blast. And if there are any viewers just thinking, should I subscribe to Canon 40 TV? I'm not sure. Subscribe to Canon 40 TV. Be part of the bigger community here. We're making our way to 10,000 subscribers. I think we're maybe 300. Just shy of our 10,000, and it's down to each and every one of you. So for both my brother and myself, and also Monty, the moderator, thank you so very much for joining us every single live show. It's been a real blast, but we continue onwards and upwards. And like James always tells me, it's all about timing. It's all about the timing. That's what I've got to say. James, again, I want to say a big thank you coming on this evening segment where we spoke about Europa League action and other bits and pieces as well. But it's been a real blast, James. Thank you so very much for coming on.
You're more than welcome. Really enjoyed it, and look forward to next time.
Brilliant. And if by chance, or you've been wondering who you've been listening to, you've been listening to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all.